Hello. Okay. Hopefully everything is working. I had changed various settings around, so let me know if anything sounds weird. I also have a massive fan under my desk, which I'm hoping isn't causing too much noise. But let me know if it is and I'll turn it down. It is 32 degrees in my room. I have sat under a big hot light as well. So we'll see how we get on today. But yeah, welcome to the stream. My name is Daniel. Hey Vincent, thank you for feedback on the mic. Yeah, we're making a job tracking app. Like full disclosure, I plan on making it a source of income, but giving it away for free, which it will just be like donations and stuff. So I just want everyone to know that if you do decide that you want to help out, that is my ultimate plan, and you don't end up feeling like I have lied about that. I think I might have forgotten to say it on a couple of streams. I feel really bad about it. Maybe a little bit silly. Anyway, so last week we added some new storable stuff to the database storage stuff, file storage really, and that went pretty well. We ran into a couple of like really silly little issues of stuff not being publicly available. Hi, Dreamy. You've got a little crown on your thing. What does that mean? Are you my #1 fan? Top fans, #1. Aww. 891 also has one. That's interesting. I think Indrini's just moved down to 2. That's really fun. Anyway, what was I going to say? So yeah, last week we added some more storables. On my one you do, that's interesting. And only on your first comment, not on your second one. I'm not going to put the chats into the video though. You'll just have to take my word for it. And now it's back. How weird. I'll show you later, 891. I'll send you a text message. Oh, okay, cool. Cool. So yes, we added some storage. We need to put it in the actual app, and we will see what happens. Now, the joke of the stream is I still don't really understand reactivity in Dioxus. When you change things, so I'll show you the documentation actually. Let's hop over to here. So the idea is in Dioxus, while oh dear, my cat is also very much struggling with the heat, so if you hear him, he'll be okay. My partner will jump out for him, I'm sure. So there she is. There's several different ways of managing state through Dioxus. Like the key one is using signals, and signals are quite nice because they sort of tie themselves to what's going on, and when they change, they can change things like the components that they're in, which is quite nice. But I don't have super chats, do I? No, I definitely don't. Sorry, Vincent asks whether it's super chats, but I'm not monetized, so I shouldn't be getting any super chats or anything like that. I don't think, anyway. I don't know. We can look at it another time. I'm pretty sure I'm still fairly far off getting monetized on here, actually. I think I'm not even halfway to getting like ad revenue, which is sad. YouTube can profit off my stuff. Hi, OK Alarm. This is nice amount of chat going on. I like this. So again, so state is the sort of like the core thing in Dioxus for managing state. It's kind of, you know, like use state, I guess, in React. But there are some other things as well. So for example, use effect is similar. I think it tracks other things and can run again when those things change, which also means I don't really know what the point of a signal is. So for example, we've got like a chain of use signal, use memo, use effect. Use memo memoizes the result when you call it. So unless this changes, use memo always returns the same result. Really useful if you want to do something that's sort of and yes, 891, you should actually, as I have been saying for a while, you should actually be advertising your stream so I actually know when to watch them. Well, that's the question. So signals maybe don't normally re-render. Once you have your signal, you can clone it. Finally, you can set the value. But then reading it, maybe it doesn't. Oh, okay. So sorry, 891 says in view, signals don't normally actually cause a re-render. So that could be my first mistake. So maybe that's where we get to sort of the use effect and use memo stuff. For us, though, a lot of what we're doing, this is React balance. Might as well be talking about bakery. So in our stuff, a lot of what we actually do is centered around use resource. Which, where are we here? So use resource is actually what we do to get things, because we are usually calling an asynchronous store or something like that that will take a moment to get back to us. So we have to use synchronous because it's the only, use resource. It's the only way of calling async code, which you put in a block and pass over to it. I mean, it certainly could be mirroring the behaviors. It's just one of those things that I really cannot get my head around. I was even reading about it today and feeling like I still don't understand it. So we're going to muddle through and see how we get on. One place where reactivity is not working well, let's get Dioxus up. So one place that's not going well at the moment is that logs currently don't get cleared when you clear them. They do on disk, like it deletes all the files correctly, but when you have to go away and come back again for it to reflect in the UI. So while that's building, let's go look at the log view. I think it's in help. So again, we have this use resource, which gives us a log resource. And then the thing that should happen is when we click the button, log clearer, it should restart the resource, which should cause it to reload. Unless spawn... Oh, this could be a mistake. This could be a mistake. So I have a feeling... Sorry, I'll work my way through why this might be. Yeah, 891 has been doing his own streams with... I'm not going to say what the channel is, just in case you don't want to advertise it for some reason, but he's been doing his own streams with Ember.js and just generally looking at sort of older... Well, you're looking for a new front end to use, right? Okay, so his channel's ManyLearn, which, funnily enough, I feel like might have been... It should be on my description of this channel, actually, because obviously... where are we? If you go to this stream, I think ManyLearn is linked from there. But yeah, he's been looking at Ember.js, coding like it's 2012 again, looking for a front-end framework that he actually likes. But anyway, so the problem I think it is that we've got this spawn thing here. So you can't do async stuff in a event driven by like the UI. But what you can do is spawn something to happen later. And I think basically this is what's just gone wrong here, is that probably this doesn't wait for this to finish, I suspect. Let's have a look. I assume it's not blocking. Spawns feature but does not return the task. The task will automatically be cancelled when the component is dropped. So yes, I think that's exactly it. It's non-blocking. So what we can do is move this in here. We are not using it anymore, so that should be fine. Interesting that... Does this work? Didn't even show the actual problem. Bear with me, sorry. Bring this over here. So here we go. Here's the app as it is at the moment. If I go over to help, we should see some logs. Did everything just break? No, okay. So if I clear logs this time, okay, that was literally the only problem. Spoilers is actually pretty modern, Ember.js is pretty modern. Yes, you can ask a question, 891. And thinking the same first time I understood something. Oh, Vincent, you were thinking the same about the ordering of the functions. Lack of Dioxus knowledge, but does Dioxus FE still HTML.js right now, not its own render stack? So I'm not entirely 100% sure. I can tell you that it is rendering HTML and there will be JS in here. The way that Dioxus is actually working, though, is that I suspect it's probably compiling to WebAssembly and then connecting to WebAssembly via JavaScript, so you get that reactivity and stuff. So at the moment, for WebAssembly, there's no way of like directly linking WebAssembly to HTML, which sounds frustrating, but I feel like maybe it's not so bad. You could turn WebAssembly into JS, I think, but you probably don't want to for weird when WebAssembly is faster than JavaScript at basically everything except for talking to the DOM. So obviously with a front-end framework, you're going to be doing that a lot, but all the hard work WebAssembly is going to be faster at. So it's unfortunately no longer available. Maybe I should just go back and recreate it on my own account. When I was learning WebAssembly with Rust the first time around with... Kevin Hoffman's book on programming WebAssembly with Rust. It's really useful. Hello, I'm convinced that in the future, sorry, I'll come back to your thing in a second. So it's a really useful book, and it teaches you how to program WebAssembly in the first chapter, just WebAssembly, not Rust. Where was I going with this? So the problem is that WebAssembly, hang on a minute. No, I am telling the story wrong. Sorry, this is a few years ago now. So this is one source of things I've been learning. I have also been learning from the old Rust WebAssembly book, like the online one. And in that one, they've got a game of life thing. And I basically just crammed so much work into the WebAssembly aspect of it, only reporting back what the like a texture looked like back to JavaScript. I was able to run it at 60 frames a second. This is game of life with 250,000-ish cells running at 60 frames a second. So each one of those cells for the next frame to render has to check the 8 cells around it for whether or not it's alive. So WebAssembly is insanely fast. Sorry, Dilshot, I am guessing. Hello, I'm convinced that in the future, Dioxus full stack application development will be one of the leaders. Please create any applications with CRUD and Postgres SQL functions step by step. So I mean, we're quite far into the, Dioxus at the moment, but I will give a quick run over what we already have. I also think I don't know whether Dioxus will ever be. I really love it. I use it for absolutely everything. Right now, it's a hard sell for sort of commercial use and at other businesses just because it's still not stable. The API for it changes every now and then. But I really love where it's going. It's the most performant of front-end frameworks that I've tested. Full stop, not just Rust ones, just the most performant front-end web framework that I've personally used. Anything besides React is pretty hard to sell. Yes, I agree with that as well, even if something is more appropriate. So funny enough, 891 and I were having this conversation recently about how, I can't remember which it was. We were talking a little bit about how TypeScript is TypeScript is to Flow what VHS was to Betamax. Like Flow was slightly better, but TypeScript got more support, got a bigger community, and just ran. And I think that's going to be the hard thing moving to any other framework. I also still think that as much as I get used to this sort of syntax, I do think it's going to be a harder sell to people that this isn't, like it doesn't look like HTML. I don't know. There are Rust frameworks that do look like HTML, but they're also slightly slower than this one. And I assume it's something that I don't understand going on in the background that's much better. Leptos also looks like this and is also extremely fast. So maybe there's something to this thing. Svelte is ludicrously fast in part due to signals and lack of virtual DOM. Yeah, and I'm sure that all across the board, people are always going to be looking at making all of these things faster as well. So we live in good times. But I would say to Dilshot that I think that, again, as much as I love it, I also sort of advocate against choosing something for raw speed. So I'm a massive fan of Rust and Dioxus, and I do love the fact that they're fast, but I tend not to advocate for things for their speed because most things are fast enough that what you pay for developers is going to be more expensive than what you pay for in CPU and memory and stuff like that. And I know that's going to make some hardcore programmers a bit sad. But anyway, I will do a quick run over the application. It is getting quite large now, so we'll go quite quickly. But the project, we should do a debate on this. Actually, I was thinking about asking you if you want to do a collab at some point on something else entirely. But yeah, we could do a debate on it. There's nuance to everything. I will quickly shoe in. I bang on about that constantly. Yes, I do. You like that. So this was created out of the Dioxus full stack create application, creates all the bits and bobs for you. So we end up with what you actually get is desktop, mobile, server, UI and web. So those are sort of your core Dioxus application parts. And sorry, you don't need to be quiet though when I'm enjoying the chat, even if it's making me giggle while I'm trying to say other things. What I've added is icons is just like a dump of icons for the thing. I had some help from the Curious Library on this one, who is another excellent YouTube channel that you should definitely watch. But I just could not get the transparency on Theo's little magnifying glass, and she helped out with that. Where am I? So the other thing that I've added, or the other two things I added were, big fun, UI is not part of it. No, UI was part of it. And that's sort of the shared components for mobile, desktop, and web. So mobile, desktop, and web are like the things that they're like the applications that you build out. Server is a server that will sit somewhere, but we're not currently using most of this. We're not using any of these. And they will just, I think they just run empty things right now. So I've mostly focused on the desktop app because that's where I don't have a lot of experience building stuff. Web developer by trade for like 15 years. Oh God, old. But the storage is me. And I ummed around this a lot, but ended up going with sort of just storing JSON files on your disk because that felt like the most sensible thing to do. Arguably, could move this into server because that's probably where it really belongs. And that will work across, won't work on desktop? Maybe it won't. It's still an area that I need to investigate a bit more. Mostly I use Dioxus for static site generation, so there are a lot of areas I just don't know very well at the moment. Thus the stream as I explore and try to work out what's going on. And I also thought it might just be fun for people to like see me struggle through and see how I work out how to do stuff and talk about the complex things. And then I get to abuse the fact that you guys are here shouting advice at me all the time as well. So moving on, we should have in storage, the things that we added last time were interviews, questions, and values. So we want to get those into the UI. So Indigo VFX, appreciate the overview here. First time watching your live stream. Welcome. Glad you also mentioned Leptos though. I'm interested to see where you're going with Dioxus here. I mean, round in circles, Indigo is probably where I'm going. Like, I'm mostly just having fun making an app that, like I say, I'm probably just gonna put up for donations on somewhere at some point. I guess maybe soon actually, because we are getting towards the end. Anyway, I'm very proud of the way that I've done the storage. We talked about that last time. If you're really curious, you can go and watch that 3-hour stream. This time we are going to be trying to get that stuff back into the application. Now, in the application, we get, not here, our stores, and the ThreadSafe, JSON ThreadSafe general store contains stores for companies, flags, values, roles, interviews, questions. So what we want to do is if I go home, new company, select a role. Actually, no, it's not on the role, it's on the company details. So the first thing I want to do is add in values, probably above the flags, actually. This is the main selling point, I think, or the USP for this app is the that you can write down things as they happen. That if you really liked something or really didn't like something in an interview, you can write it down. It goes against the company rather than the interview itself. So that next time in the future when you interview again, you can see what happened last time. Let's see. So I want to go back to UI. Close all this down, UI source. Now we've got these views. If I go into the home view, which is this main bit, this section, we should also have in here a details view, which is this section. Actually, I should be able to inspect it and show you. So that's home, and that's sort of the details area. And that's what we're currently showing. So we've got our company name and our flags. So if I go to company details, that's where we're currently getting that. So the next thing I need to do is add in a values list, probably, which is probably going to be fairly similar to the flags list. Did a bit of Googling, sorry, 891 says, did a bit of Googling, possibly a bit too much of Dioxus is going Rust to WASM rather than learning too much of JS. Like the signals, etc. Oh yeah. So, leaning on too much JS. Yeah, so that's exactly it. The less time you can spend on JS, the better. You can escape Dioxus into JavaScript a bit, but it does get a bit weird for things like desktop, because I think that the JavaScript runtime on the desktop maybe doesn't do the same things as it does in a browser. So trying to avoid that as much as possible. There has been some other weird. There is another really weird caveat to the current version of Dioxus as well, which is that the window manager it uses is probably not going to be the one that they go to 1.0 with as well. So another like massive caveat here is like I'm doing all of this under the full knowledge that I will probably have to sort of update a lot of stuff in the future and work out new ways of doing things as they go through it. As with a lot of Rust frameworks, it's not stable yet, but they're getting there, and I'm really excited by this project. So carrying on. I'm probably going to need, yeah, I mean, we've got flag list up here. Let's just add it in at the same level. We'll probably just pop it down here. So mod value list and pub views value list. That got created in the wrong place. Try that again. And let's have a look. I haven't touched a lot of this for a while, so yeah, I think that's makes sense. So we've got some. So it might be that empty flags are not used anymore. They're not. So I could probably delete this actually. So in an earlier version of the application, flags actually sat underneath roles, but I decided that this would sort of be the company view. I mean, roles obviously still have to select down here, but you will get company details, and it also pops up whenever you click on the company. It just goes straight to that thing. So I think that's a better place for it to be, especially since we want to have values here as well. Not sure this is the best UI. Like, as one of my designer friends once told me, I need to stick with my day job and not do design. So let's see. Yeah, empty flag list isn't used anymore. And then we want to do value list. Yeah, they know who they were, 891. I would like to do a, so we've got flag list item and populated flag list. I think we'll probably just do like a value list and a mod value list item. I don't think you cross streams. No, it's okay. Sorry, calling you out on stream is absolutely was no hardship for me at all. Although anytime I need some design work done, I might remind you of it to twist your arm a little bit. Let's start here. So Dioxus, we need the prelude is probably the easiest way to just get started. We've got a component, pubfn value list item. Now, one thing I've got elsewhere is that I've made list items that are editable. I've got like an editable thing for them. So we're probably going to want that on here as well, but we'll come back to that in a minute. The value list item will take probably a value. Might as well just make that the prelude as well. Don't know why IntelliJ doesn't do that for me. And then components, weirdly, return elements. And then we can probably just stick something in here for now. So RSX is the DSL macro, the DSL? Oh my goodness, Dan, you just wrote a whole chapter of the book on this. Domain-specific language, yes. So the stuff that we're writing isn't Rust, but it can go into, it can be tokenized and put into a macro rules macro. And then, actually, is this a macro rules? I bet it's a, wow, it is. It's a token string. That's quite cool. Yeah, I probably would have over-engineered that personally and done a proc macro, but macro rules is perfect. So what we need to do is, I think just a list item for now. We would like to have the string probably be like, actually, it's going to be two aspects to this. Is this technically a list? I think it probably is. I'm going to have to check on my semantic web terms. Value, let's bring it out because IntelliJ doesn't quite like it. Value dot name. That should, oops. That should be fine. And then value dot description is the other one. I'm waiting to be called out on my terrible HTML semantics, but value list itself, did I just put this in the wrong place? Typical. Cool. And then the value list is going to take a company ID, I think. Yeah, so again, for people who haven't been here before, the way that the sort of statefulness works is I decided to use the URL itself as the way to manage the state. So in, actually I think it's in home, right? Am I going a little bit wild? Where did I put it? Maybe it is in main. Nope, that is not it. So it must be in UI. Jump over to router, not that router, sorry, root. And then so we had to do a little bit, yeah, it's okay, there is, oh, it's in views, isn't it? Home. Yeah, so in here, we basically pass the company ID in from the router itself. So the router will take our company ID, role ID, and the view, which I'm thinking I might move over to the front actually. Not sure yet, because the view only matters if you do have a role, otherwise it's automatically on the home view. So I then pick those up and then I load up the resources as necessary and store them into the context here. So we can always pull it out of the context later. For value list though, I think I'm probably going to take the company ID at this point and then load the list via that. It's always hard to know where to do these things, even within things like React and stuff. So we'll go with it for now. We can always tidy up later. Component. Pub-fn value list. Using UUIDs for the IDs of everything. This returns an element. Let's do a quick, we'll just see if this actually works first. It's going to be in, what did I make the flag list? I think it's an H3, but let's double check. Yeah. Oh, and also a div. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm really struggling with the heat, I think. It's been making typing harder all day. I'm not going to say who, but I was doing a tech interview for someone else today, and they were using Iced, which is another Rust UI framework. And getting my head around that was a challenge. And doing it in this heat was a lot. Anyway, let's get back to company details. We should now be able to use this. Oh, I've named these things all terribly. Value list. Because we use camel case for this. That snake case to camel case. Company details. value list. And I've clearly not exported anything correctly. Yep, that's fine. Use value list star. Use value list item star. And now it should work. Nope. Got something else missing somewhere. Or do I? I've missed something somewhere, so let's go back through it quickly. I'm going to take a quick drink. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Sorry, Miss Vincent saying the amount of UI frameworks is a bit much. I think would be nice to have a couple that get a nice team behind it. Yeah, I think it's not valueless to have a lot of different frameworks, and I think that it's quite nice that you can really thanks. I think it's quite nice to have a little bit of variation. It's really good to it's really good for people to be able to learn off of each other. Rust is a language that just would not exist if the people behind it hadn't learned things from the dozens of other languages that already exist. It more than most languages, I think. Like, obviously, there's a lot of sort of C-like languages, but I think that Rust has really sort of worn its influences on its sleeve, especially with things like how it's, there are things that it borrows quite heavily from Go, things it borrows quite heavily from Ruby. It literally cited lessons learned from JavaScript and Python as to why we have additions in Rust. Like, it's a language that very heavily relies on where people have already been, if that makes sense. Pub use value list star. Pub list. Okay, I don't know why this isn't coming through. Let's see if we just write it in, whether it's just my IDE not working correctly. Certainly could be just me not working correctly in this heat. Okay, let's step through again. Oh, Daniel. There we go. There we go. Okay, rebuild this. Still doesn't, not happy. Did I put a semicolon in somewhere? It's unhappy specifically here. Value list. Oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. So we can do, that's interesting. Probably it takes the entire company. Yeah, I mean, we can do that. I've wrapped the companies in arcs. If you saw my video yesterday, you'll understand why. Tiny plug for yesterday's video. It's a very cheap way of moving data around. It's a very cheap way of moving data around in a asynchronous environment, potentially multi-threaded. An interesting thing, actually, sorry, this is just another aside. I saw something earlier that made me believe that you could use RC instead of arc if your asynchronous environment was single-threaded, which is interesting. But if we are, I think we are using Tokyo here, and Tokyo tends towards having multi-threaded systems. So let's just get this done. So clone is really cheap on arcs. It's even cheaper on RCs, but they don't work multi-threaded. And our wrap is back. Okay. Whoop. So hopefully, values. Not. Did I do an H2 by mistake? I did an H1. Brilliant. Not sure why that didn't reload. There we go. Okay, getting there. So next we need to get the values from the company. So this is where we're going to need to start relying on use resource and the store. So again, we're probably, I think I'm just going to split the screen so I can see what I did last time. Probably, there are various things I'm a little unhappy about. So if you've been looking at the code and thinking this is a bit weird, it's possible that I'm looking at it thinking this is a bit weird too. So don't feel free to voice. And we'll see how it goes. Where am I going? Populated flag list. So we will need the company ID. Technically, I should probably actually be doing get ID, but I think it's probably fine. So stores, we will use this. So this is an interesting one as well. So Dioxus uses some sort of, I don't know, magic here to specifically make sure that it gets the correct context by type using a turbofish. I'm really curious about this. At some point, I really must look into how exactly they do that. It's not like I'm not doing similar things, as you will see when we do the get on the values. But it's, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. They're going a step further than I've gone in terms of their how they're using generics in this. I think it's really interesting. I'm not going to worry about that stuff for now. So let mute. Let's get rid of the let mute values resource equal use resource. I don't think I actually do need the company ID in here. I think that might have been a step too far. So use reactive, I think, will make sure that the used resource is subscribed to changes here. But since the entire component changes when that value changes, I don't think it's necessary. So we'll see where we get to without. This, I think, takes a closure. Does it take a closure? Gosh, I can't remember how it works without it. Okay, I think what we are going to do immediately is actually, let's just go in here. Dioxus. Use resource. I don't know what I was doing there. Use resource. Yeah, so it's a closure that doesn't take anything, and then it's a asynchronous block inside the closure. I always think this is kind of weird. So the closure's not asynchronous, but this block is. This is a weird thing about this is a weird thing about Rust syntax. So let's get that going. So the async tells us that the block is async. The move tells us that any values that we use in here should be moved into the closure for future reference. So let result equal use context. Am I doing this twice? I don't need to do this, right? I've already got stores. So we'll just move them in. I mean, technically, I maybe only need them here. Maybe I will just do it here then. Use context. Store type is an alias for anyone who's interested. So this just lets me change it really easily. So if I need to, or like build something else, I can use a different type of store in here. Or if I just want to change it, which I was changing it a lot when I was working out what to do with stores, it just made it like a nice simple one place. Everything was just called store type in the sort of UI and things, and I could just refer to one other place. So that gives us the use that gives us the store recall by company, and then give it company ID. So this is where I was saying like. There's no way for it to know what type this is when I do this. You see they've got the question mark here. The way that it's actually working it out I'm just going to copy this bit. We don't need to tell it what it is yet. So you'll see that I've got like recall by company, recall by company. This is returning flag, but this is a question mark. So this is why I'm saying I've got some similar stuff where I've got this weird turbofish thing. You could, if you wanted to, put the turbofish in here, I think, and then do value. No, maybe that's not where you put it. What you can do is, actually, why is that the case? Maybe it's the I has ID. Oh yeah, because the actually that's just the type for this, so it's a bit more complicated. But once Rust is able to work out what is being used over here, it will actually work out everything else backwards, which is quite nice. We have got this here. I need to work out something better for managing errors in general. I'm a bit unhappy with this, but whoops. Handle storage error, I think. Yeah, again, this is like just copied and pasted everywhere. Do I care? There's probably some more sensible things I could do with this error. The crate that is called this error, one word. But for now, we'll just muddle on through. This is sad because I think this is sad because it still doesn't know what the type is, right? Don't know why it's decided it wants an attribute description. That's not what we're getting back. What we're getting back is going to be how did I think I've got another terrible, like, don't judge me too harshly for any of this. Again, I'm not sure this is the correct way to do it. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we've got like this flags list thing here. Actually, all of this is fine. We'll come back to that one. So the reload thing here is a callback that we can call later that will restart our resource for us, which is handy, but we don't need it right now. It's not that, it's, can I just change all of these maybe? Value list item, value. We're not going to do that for now. That should be fine. Because I've still got flag over here. Why has it decided we need an attribute description up here? Is it, have I used it somewhere silly? Value of value. Cat is screaming. It's going to be something to do with this, isn't it? Okay, tell you what. We will just swallow the error for now. It is... Oh, hang on, I see. This should... If okay, values. Okay, hang on, let's just type into it and see if we can get it to tell us where the mistake is. Resource. Actually, can I do it maybe here? Now it's happy. Don't think so. No, it's just on. It's not happy with that at all. Oh, wait a minute. It's gonna be very silly, but where is it getting attribute description from? Okay. we are still running into an issue with, I think, it not knowing what the vec is. Oh, actually, also get rid of that. Get rid of this and this. And it still doesn't know what it's expecting. Good example of needing the error crate. Which error crate? I am using anyhow and this error. What I'm not sure is why one of these is fine and the other one isn't. It couldn't, no, it's not that. 1 second. Oh yeah, creating my own error crates to limit code duplicate. Yeah, so I do need to, I do have like a little bit of error handling already. I need to maybe create this error type for things like this, which is maybe a bit more sensible. It's something I'll come on to at some point. Oh my goodness. Sorry, just seen it. I also lost the async move. So it's now back to being a vec. But it still doesn't know what kind of vec. There's a value down there. Also seems to have built. I don't have any values, that's the only issue. Okay. Oh my goodness. Like your talking head, but the code would be nice. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, thank you. The actual error, let me go back again, is I still had let result equal in there, which is not sensible, and I also lost the async move. There we go. Thank you, Vincent. Okay, so I don't have, it is working, but I don't have any values to display right now. I could very cheekily is right new. And then we should just be able to do company ID, should be fine because it's copy and name value. I think I made it so that you could add a value and not a description. It's probably fine for now. I just want to see it working really, that's all. So back, oops, not that. Here, do we not get a rebuild? What? Recall by company ID should return a vec. It does. So where on earth? Oh, this is oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that's why we had all those problems. This is just comment out for now. It's a good error. And this is sad because of Don't tell me it's because of company ID. That would be a little bit annoying. Company ID is copy. Why would you need to move when you can copy? I'm not using it anywhere else, I don't think, so let's just move it for now. So yeah, that's moving it into... Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, that's my mistake. So that moves into the closure, that moves it into the block, the async block. Okay, see if this worked. Hey, Bon Gian, sorry. I am absolutely melting and my brain is not working. This is going to be a really interesting stream. I don't know, I'm hoping that you can't see how much I've absolutely sweat through my clothes today. We are up to 33 degrees now. My fan is doing nothing for me. I've got all the windows open, curtains open so that they're not blocking the thing, which is why the light is a little bit weird today. Okay. Excuse me. What was I doing? Why am I stuck? I'm stuck because I need to move the thing, which I just did. Did I not hit the rebuild button? Oh, I did, right? Yeah, I did, and then it didn't work. Okay, I'll show you. So nothing's popped up in here, despite the fact that we should have pushed this in. The one big downside that I have with Dioxus is that because it doesn't run with cargo run, it runs with Dioxus serve. I don't think I can easily debug it, which I will give iced, which is the framework I was mentioning earlier. Yeah, we don't really have aircon in the UK. I think that's good. I think the UK's time of not needing aircon has come to an end. Let's do some console debugging, I guess, like classic. So we do get in there. Do you know what I think is very, very, very silly here? It was close to 40 last week for you, so glad it's low. But do you have air conditioning? It's horrible to go outside, but I don't have air conditioning, so it's 33 in this room right now. Not to play the pity. Portable AC has been really helpful, yeah. I was looking at getting like a proper AC maybe, but it's going to be a while before I can do that. I actually even think I think I might now be so coated in sweat that the air fan is not actually doing anything to remove the heat. Yeah, in the room, yeah, that's the thing. So I think this is the thing when people hear British people complain about, oh, you know, it's like 30 degrees and everyone's like, that's nothing, it's like 40 outside. People forget that we don't have air conditioning, so it's like just flat 30. This is very stupid. This is very, very, very stupid as to why I've made a mistake here. Seems to be struggling a little bit with those rebuilds. New company, value, there we go. That's what we did, isn't it? Daniel. Okay, so it's working. It is working. So let's try and get back to something sensible. We'll have this back to result. We'll bring this back. We'll use this again. Get rid of that. Put this in. Semicolon. Values. Error message. Okay, I think that's fine. It is not fine. Spoilers. Expected result VAC error. What? Oh, sorry. My fault. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now I feel confident. Okay. So next we need to create a way to add values. So the way that I've done that in flags is we just have this little form down here, so you can select a green or red flag and you can add that in. The downside though is I'm definitely going to need a way of creating it with a description, I think, because I don't know why I decided to make it name only. We'll come back to that. It'll be fine. So here we have this form on the flag side. So you can see we've got the onSubmit is going to be a function that we call, which is over here. This is quite a long function, and I probably want to review why it's so long. I don't think it should necessarily be. There is some like parsing of the form data, which is going on, which is sort of this bit. Oh yeah, and the fact that we also have flag color in here, which makes it slightly more difficult. The form parts come in separate bits. There's probably a way to do from form data, do we think? Maybe from form data for flag, with a slight downside being that like flag underscore name, flag underscore color aren't what we call the things, so make it slightly more difficult. I'm gonna do I want to try that? I might not want to try it, because here's the challenge. So form data is not, it's going to be a part of the Dioxus app. In here, we don't use Dioxus because this is purely down to storage. You can see we, even for like Tokyo, actually no, there is some stuff in Tokyo that's sort of different. Oh yeah, I managed to get rid of async trait. That was quite nice. I'll take that out another time though. So we don't use Dioxus in here, so I can't use form data, like a from form data on my storable object, but I also can't put it in here because, at least not just like a import from, I'll show you actually, from form data for value. And this won't work because we don't own form data. So we can only do it for traits that are defined in the current scope, which is a little bit annoying. What we could potentially do is just do like a, it's not as nice, but form data to value. And then we'll take form data in here and return value. And that'll probably work okay. And that at least sort of makes our actual component a little bit easier to do. Another thing that's sort of massively missing, like my sort of bragging point for storage, is it's 100% test covered, and my desktop and UI are 0% test covered, which is very upsetting. So at some point I'm gonna have to go through and start writing tests. Moving some of the functionality out is gonna make that a lot easier. But let's start off with this. So form data, we're gonna go back to the populated flag list here and look at how this works. So it is can't get form data directly. Is it a deref? It might be a deref, we might be okay. This also needs to be a result because the form data might be invalid. I think I've got anyhow in here. I thought I had anyhow in here. I do. Okay. So this is going to be, I guess, value name. And we're probably going to want one for value description as well. But we also need the company ID. So I guess we can probably just do company ID here. Sorry, new ID. And I don't think I can instantiate it this way because... Oh, okay, maybe it's fine. So the company ID is going to be default. I don't like this, actually. Let's just go fixed value quickly. We'll do new with description. Should we just put the description in? Is there ever going to be a time when you don't want description? Maybe. With description. Change the types here. Oh. Reason being that we are obviously going to want another type here. I do like to depend on traits quite a lot for these sorts of things. I don't know why. Couldn't give you a good reason. Just means you can get lazy with what you pass in, really. Yeah, okay. Which means we have to up our tests. Might change this test helper as well, actually. Yeah, slight downside there is going to be that we don't end up testing new on its own. Could pass one to the other. Feels a bit cheaty, doesn't it? Maybe not. It might be a bit over the top on the don't repeat yourself side of things, but company name. I mean, that actually arguably is better. Let's just go with that. Let's check my coverage as well. It won't actually say 100% test coverage. There's like one file that doesn't cover certain things for no apparent reason. Not entirely sure why, but it should be close. What I care about is this one. So this one's 100%, so this is fine. Okay, let's go. Oh, guys, please talk about something that's not AC so that we can move the AC talk out and I can stop thinking about how much I want AC as well. Let's look at, so value list, we will want the new with description, I think. So we'll do let name equal that. Let description equal, with the main problem sort of being that if, oh yeah, so this is going to be okay, or else, is that right? Yeah, this is it. So do okay, or what am I doing here with this? I'm not doing anything with handle storage error at the moment. What I should probably do is create an error type right here for this sort of thing, but I'm not going to. Am I? Just going to go full over engineering stuff, aren't I? That's not how we do it. Oh, do I not have this error on this? Okay, not currently using this error here, so let's stick with just doing like a okay, or we can sort of get away with this, I think. It should be all right. I think anyhow we'll cope with that. See how we get on. I mean, the number of times I said this, I think this will work already, and it hasn't worked. Actually, this one's okay for it to be okay or default. So we don't... this will end up being a string reference anyway, I think. Question mark on that. Why is this unhappy? Form data.values.get. Maybe okay, or default's not a thing. Oh, it's unwrap or default, right? There we go. Cool. That gives us two form values, which we can then use to do value new description, company ID, name description, and that needs to be in an OK. Right. Without this error, I'm going to have to do a fair bit of work to get around that. How am I handling errors over here? That gives me an option. Oh, yeah, I could do that. I could just do this. And then this is obviously going to be sum. It's not great. I know it's not great. Maybe I'll do a stream on Daniel fixes all of his shameful mistakes in the future. So next we need a form. Actually, sorry, next we need to finish off this closure here. So this is just a closure that gets called by the form when it's submitted. It's very, very silly. Very, maybe silly is not the word. It's just, you know, it's not a lot of... sorry, I really am struggling with this. It's not like I can even go anywhere like the whole house is this hot. Make it work, then make it idiomatic. Yeah, I mean, I think that's right, yeah. Very good sort of staff engineer I used to work with commented on the fact that it's one of the reasons why lines of code is such a terrible measure of productivity, because oftentimes as a software engineer, you'll write like 500 lines of code. It works, and then you refactor it down to like 5. And it's just, yeah, a bad measure. So create values. Values. I don't know what we'll need to move in this. I'm going to start off with not, and we'll, again, like we did before, very unentertaining, but we will attempt to migrate stuff only as we need it. I don't think we need to clone stores here. I think we'll take it straight from the context, hopefully. The only one that's going to be a bit funny is going to be company ID. I really don't know why it's moved, because UUID is copy, and it just feels like it shouldn't need move. It shouldn't need copy. Should be fine. Pretty sure it is. Copy, yeah. So you should use copy semantics instead of move semantics going into closure. Very weird. Next, we need this. We are already in an async block, so this should be fine. We will do let value equal what do we call it? Form data to value event. I think we can dereference probably. We can't dereference. I mean, if we were dereferencing, we actually have to pass in. That's very silly. Oops. It might be dereferenced, and I just didn't do it right. Expected UUID, but found. Oh. So we're immediately going to run into this issue again with company ID, I think. No, this time it's fine. So weird. I do not know what I'm doing. I'm just going to keep on crawling and it might keep working. So we then have, so we're using if let sum to actually do the unwrapping of that value for us. Again, it's not amazing. Sorry, equals value. Oh, for people who are Rust aficionados, did you see the latest version of Rust now has has let chaining? So you wouldn't need to do this, if let chaining, which is really cool. So I think we don't need to do this weird, like into a tuple and back out of a tuple thing. I think we should be able to do if let sum and if let sum. Should be fine. I'm not going to do it right now. Push it to production while it works quick. Yeah, works on my machine. We are okay here. I didn't actually check that it's not empty. If name dot is empty, we'll return a none here. Otherwise, we'll do this. So that gets rid of that problem. No submitting blank forms. We don't care about value description. I will probably make these consts as well, actually, while we're at it. Need to actually specify. What I probably should have done is actually. So the reason for this is obviously I'm going to create the form in a minute. I don't want any mistakes with the potential differences here. Can I do introduce a constant file? Yeah, no, and that's much nicer. Value description ID. Okay. I reckon, I'm starting to reckon that maybe the British government should subsidise all our air conditioning because of the loss of productivity when it's this bloody hot. So we now are pretty sure this is a valid value. What I should do is put I should put the validation on the storable types themselves, so that when you try to create them, it will tell you if you've incorrectly tried to create them. That's what I'm going to add to the project, actually. Validate storables. Creation. Return a result. Company ID is probably a fine. It's just going to go into the ether if you don't get a valid company ID. And it's going to be a valid UUID, but if it's not a valid company, I probably don't care. Another interesting thing actually that I kind of forgot is that you can create some of these types from company. So you can do company.new role and it will automatically add the company ID in, which is a more sensible way of doing it than what I've just done now. I will change it later. It's just going to be one of those days, I think. So next we need to store. So store dot store value dot await. This will give us a result. And then we've got a little bit of work to do on this. So match result. We will put the I'm actually starting to think this maybe wasn't the right way to do this. So store should maybe have internal mutability rather than be mutable itself. The reason that store is mutable is because one of the store types actually stores things in memory. So it's just got a vec inside of it to store things, but obviously to add and remove things from the vec, you actually would have to mutate the vector. So, and then this is another thing that I've been struggling with a little bit lately, is that mutexes don't work in async contexts because they lock the thread. So as we were talking about earlier, it is possible to have an asynchronous runtime that is single threaded. So if you used a mutex in that single threaded runtime, everything would break. Whereas if every single asynchronous thing that is happening has its own thread, then you're safe to use mutex. It's very silly. But it does cause a problem because it means that I can't wrap the storage with interior mutability without being prescriptive as to whether it is for async or for threads. Obviously, the async ones work either way, but then you have to sort of choose a framework to use, such as Tokyo or something. So then you're bringing in all of Tokyo, well, not all of Tokyo, but you're bringing in some of Tokyo just to get this one feature, which is a bit odd. That said, I'm pretty sure, like, we already looked at this and we already do that inside of storage, so maybe it's fine. What is this? What has happened here? Why am I getting a tuple of 3 things here? There should be okay or error. I'm a bit concerned that that's not done its auto thingy bobby here. We'll look at whether we need this last one in a minute. So let's just add these 2. It's obviously the value resource. Values resource. Oh, that should probably be singular. Oh no, that's multiple. Okay. So then we just need to create the form, which is going to look a lot like our existing form. So let's just copy that for now. Change flag color to, where am I going to put this? So the list is above. Oh yeah, that should actually, I should very quickly correct this as well. UL. Oh, Daniel. Create value. Oh, that should definitely be singular. We're only creating 1. So we don't have this. We do have this. This is going to be, I'm not sure the correct way to access this, but it'll be just rename this field, I think. Technically not an ID, that's why. So you're going to start as empty. Input name, this is going to be name. Don't think we care about the ID here. We will then increase, actually, do I want a text box maybe? Text area for the second one, I think. Name. Description field. Value. A word that now has absolutely no meaning to me whatsoever. Let's see what happens. I'm sure that's not going to build. Have I got the... Am I... Maybe cut it a bit short today. Yeah, I think I probably am going to have to. I'm just going to go lie down. The standing desk probably not helping either. I shift around a lot. Thanks for looking out for me anyway. Okay, what did I do wrong with the store? So here we've got the create stuff. It's literally just this. I know I've pluralized it here. This is, I mean, I could just pluralize it and it'd be identical, but... Oh, stores is in... In the function value list. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's done outside, so it should be okay. I mean, arguably, I'm not even using it there. I'm literally only using it the one time, so this still doesn't want to work though. So what are we missing? Store type. This is a little bit nuts because, again, this is just a type alias for this thing. And then in here, we will have basically like a bunch of different store. Actually, not even in here. In here. So we should have a store function for a storable. So yeah, sorry, I'll try and explain where my brain is at here. So for every, the way that this thread safe general store works is it's extremely generic, extremely generic. Once you've created it, it itself has a number of ways to get the appropriate store that is stored within it. So it contains all the other stores individually. You then have a way of getting it. Specifically like get the value store, get specifically the value store. And then in here, for each type of store, we've also implemented a method that allows us to just call get store and get the right store for a particular value store. So for type V, we've got the get store here. So sorry, let's go down to C, F, R, I, Q would be the last one, V. So the method getStore, where the store you would like is the value store, will call the self.value store. So you can call it on any of these and you get the right one back, so long as you're telling it how to which store you're after in the sort of like the way that Rust thinks about the types. And then has future store can do similarly. It basically has in it the we should have a store method here. So this is the store method on has future store. So has future store will get the store for whatever you're trying to store here using this like crazy wraparound thing. It's probably a bit more on the advanced side than I'm really used to with Rust. No, it definitely is. Like, it's definitely more on the advanced side than I'm used to. It kind of works, but then I do end up repeatedly with areas where I'm just not happy with the... or I'm not getting the right sort of errors that are useful to me. They're sort of a little bit disguised because, as we can see in the value list where we've got the use context store type store, and we're giving it a value, like we know the type is a value, so that should be calling, that calls the generic store function, but the generic store function has been created for a store of type value, so it should be going all the way through. So I am a little bit confused as to why we're not getting anything there. And then in the errors, what on earth is this? Where is this coming from? Str, option str, and bool. Where is that combination of things? Unless, oh my word, no. Again with this? Again? Oh my goodness. Okay, fine. So we've got lifetime error. I think this is going to be... Basically, we probably do actually need to store the store for a second, so that it exists for long enough for all of this to work. Maybe. Oh, I should have done... There are better ways of doing it than this. Yep, needs to be mutable. Oh, damn. That's interesting. So it's unhappy about the lifetime specifier. Did I muck something up over here? Why has this suddenly gone all red? I bet I've typed something on this side, haven't I? Yeah, looks like it. Looks like I typed a thing. Let's get rid of that. What else did I type in there? What's going on over here? Oh yeah, that's right. We do want that one. Okay, we'll stop at 9. I hope that we'll get a form that works before then. There is more to it than just these like simple forms, but we'll see how we get on. So it wants move for company ID, which is a little bit annoying. Which also means it's going to be an async move as well, I think. I'm going to have to look that one up. I don't really understand why that's the case. Into string. Oh, for form value. That's interesting. Interesting. So what is a form value and how was I using it in the other thing? Split again, go back to flag list. So over here we had, oh, as value. Yep. Form value, right? Let's just do v then. V dot as value. Should give us a string. That's interesting that it gives us the string. Anyway, I'll give us an empty string, so that should make that problem go away. Ooh, okay. Excite. So there we go. We've got, oh, that's pretty terrible. Okay, let me very quickly fix that because that's making me sad immediately. So a little while back we did a stream on Tailwind and I use it wrong. Input CSS. And we will do... That should be fine. I will need to do... How do I do Tailwind again? Probably. There we go. Okay. Still more work to be done there, but new value. This is a description. Fingers crossed, I have no idea if this is going to work. Oh my word. And new value should, let's just check, it should be in a header, right? There we go. I don't think header is the right thing for this. I will have a think about that. Not going to do it now. I'm just going to have such a massive... At some point, I'm probably just going to have a stream of Daniel goes through and works out what all his shameful sins are. For now. This is fine. Okay, let's do a commit. I haven't done a commit in absolutely ages, which is probably not good. We'll actually break this down a little bit. So we've got the values. Oh, welcome back. What'd you miss? I'll do a replay for you. I finally got the values to work, so they now appear. You can add values. It was a lot of hard work. And my brain is melting more. It's not a feat. Sorry, it's not a fix, it's a feat. So add a way to create a value with a description. I think that probably needs fixing at some point. I'll probably take out the old new and just make the new. Sorry, I'm looking at the ridiculous flags in the comments. I think it's literally just who has commented the most. So while 891 was away, Vincent overtook, and 891 has just come back with 2 messages, which took him from second back to first. How ludicrous. But I do like the fact that it probably encourages people to say things. But does it encourage people to say good things? That's going to be the question. Where on earth was I going? Right, so in value, I have added a new with description. I think I will probably... that's a good question, actually. I wonder if it persists between streams as well. I will probably make this the just new in the future. But the reason I'm not going to do it now is because in company, there is a way of creating it. And it just means I'll have to change the way the company works as well as everything else. So, and tests and things that will go with it. Sorry, storage, storable, object, company, create role. Oh, there isn't. Okay, well, there's no reason for me to not do it now. Back to value. Where is value? Value. Let's just see if this is used anywhere other than in this page. It isn't. Okay. Run our tests again quickly, should be fine. Nope, because I changed the name. There we go, okay. Require description when... Oh, I should probably be doing the old, this sort of thing. Require description when creating a value. Commit. No files committed because something failed. Show details in console. Yeah, okay, good catch. If I do something stupid, will this work? It did. Okay, that's cool. That's what I should have done in the first place. I have a pre-commit GitHub thing, so that's quite nice. Oh, look at this. This is good. This is telling us loads of stuff. Yeah, that must have come in earlier when we're having all those other problems. Don't need the things here. Is that going to be true? Seems okay. I think it might actually be like you need to wrap around you only need to wrap around if it's like the text value of the thing, so, or like the child of it. So that does have to be, I'm pretty sure. Stores is unused. We knew that. That's good. Let's do that again. Still going to be issues, I think, but let's see how it goes. Whoosh. Getting there. Module has same name as its containing module. Oh, okay, fine. Don't really like doing this. So the reason for this is kind of like the value list directory contains the value list, but also the value list item. They can't be called, they're not supposed to be called the same thing. That's interesting. Okay, so I kind of thought this was the case. This might be a newer thing in Rust. I think this is about to complain in IntelliJ. It's not? Okay. It was with me earlier in a different app. That's interesting. Okay, this is why we have checks. Formatting, two files need formatting, but you're not going to tell me which. I think it doesn't matter, right? I can just do DX format. It will be this one. There'll be something. Oh yeah, look at these. These are all reformatted. There we go. Okay, we've got green across here, so we should now be able to commit stuff. Nothing has really changed over here. Why? We'll come back to that. So that's fine. Commit and push. Great. We'll push in a minute, actually. Oh, maybe I should push now. It can't press the right key combination. Let's get the merge up. Yep, Git. There we go. Yeah, I'm borderline on it as well. A91 on the little crown thing. It's kind of fun, but I think it will encourage bad behavior, which is often the case with some of these things. This is going to be feat add. Actually, let's just call it, this is going to be add values to UI. Obviously, we're not going to be doing it right now. Just draft it. The main reason for doing this is that I don't think you'll spam 891, no. Sorry, I just wanted to do that so I get on each commit a individual check of whether that's right. So now we can move on. We'll do the style next. I am a little bit unhappy that I've got the generated style in here. This shouldn't really be getting committed. I haven't worked out a good way of doing this on deploy, I think it would need to be. I'm not sure where that really belongs. So the issue is that obviously if you download this, then you will, like, if you're working with someone else, if anyone else downloads it, they'll be working with me. Then if anyone makes any changes to input.css, it won't actually be reflected in the app until they run Tailwind again. So I don't really want to commit Tailwind because it's a generated file, but there's also not a good way to make sure that it, like, I'm not sure where to put it in terms of like CI and CD and stuff, or maybe I just need to make a little make run thing. Just expand my make file to contain things for, I bet I already did, you know, dev. Oh, Daniel, it's all fine. Yeah, that actually, I think that would work as well. Oh, it might not work because, yeah, no, that would put that in the background. That would go run in the background. That would be in the foreground. So you would still get the keyboard inputs. Okay. So I'm going to call this style. It's not quite right, but updated text area style. Needs more looking at. Forms are a bit gross. Commit and push. Push. So we've now got our value list. I think we can just dump all of this in one. I don't think there's anything that we particularly need to break down. Oh, there's this. Yeah, fix the UI. Logs are correctly reloaded after clear. And can go on its own. And everything else is just about the value list. So now this is a feat. Okay, so I do want to end at 9 today, I think, making this a bit of a shorter stream. And I don't know what I'm going to do, just pour water over myself, go get a cold shower or something. But what I would like to do is attempt to get the editability in. So in the UI, I've got this editable field. It's a bit of an odd one. It basically just allows you to sort of pass in a form, sort of, and pass in something to display when it's not being edited. And then you can sort of like flick back and forth between them. So you get the editable edit and editable display components, which then exist inside of the editable component. So if it's editable, then it will show the editable edit. And if it's not, then it will show the editable display. So what we need to do, I'm actually quite happy with the way that we did the form data to value thing. That worked quite well. So this has ended up not taking up a lot of room, which I'm pretty happy with. I am curious as to whether we could just make this a function in the future, but we'll work with what we've got for now. So let's open up and see how we did on flags. We should have an edit flag somewhere. Ah, no, it's not going to be here. So I've got our flags list, but it's each individual flag that is editable. So in flag list item, we have to pass in reload flags, which is the closure that we made here. We need to pass that into this item. So this item here has the capability of restarting this resource to re-render the values once they've been changed. Not probably the most efficient way of doing it, but it will always be correct, I think. Another one to think about. So let's go to our values resource. A lot of this can probably just be copied. Actually, the only thing we need to copy is this, because everything else is already there. Why? I know. The thing that we haven't talked about all day, which we normally talk about on the stream, I don't think Helix would solve the problem of me just being bad at this. Values resource, is that what it's called? Reload values. So value list item, flag list item. We need to add in this callback here. Yeah. And it's just a really, really, really basic type. So we want reload values. It's very much like a fire and forget kind of type. Go back to here. I know this is now opened up on the wrong side, which is very confusing. That probably won't work because I don't think I did a move here. So that should be okay. Let's hop back over here, just see if this still builds. That's a pleasant surprise. Okay, cool. So then the next thing, we'd like to compare these two lists, flag list item. Yeah, this gets a bit crazy. So give me a minute to have another drink, sorry. Okay, I'll be honest, I did forget to check my Patreon today to make sure that no one had added themselves, and if they're not on there, I'm going to have to apologize. No, cool, that's good. Okay, so we've got a form receiver, which is a signal that takes form data. Why are we doing this differently here to how we were doing it in the other one? Oh, because we have to pass this. Okay, so this is weird and complex and probably not a good way of doing things. This is also not a good way of doing things. What on earth am I doing? Oh, no, that makes sense and is quite cool. Okay, so the editable element is going to need something to let us know, I think. Yeah, so, sorry. We need the editable element to basically communicate back to us to say that this is, something has changed and you need to be aware of the change. So that's why we sort of create this signal over here that contains the event form data that we're expecting to receive in the future. So let's start with that. I mean, no, it's probably... We'll work it out. One thing I'm going to do very quickly is move the thing that takes these up to super. Can I do it this way? So if I move these up here, they're still not accessible. They're not public, but you should be able to access them from their components that are in submodules, I think. So I should be able to import that, and create value. I think that's just not come through. We can do that ourselves. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not there. It's create value is in here. And then create value uses the... There we go. Value list. I mean, we can just call that super as well, I think. Oops. Okay. And the reason for that is obviously I want to use it here as well. So if let some event equal form receiver called. So this is how we this just gets the value in the signal. And then if it is not none, then we can read it here. We will obviously want to set this back to none at some point. I think I'm probably going to copy some of this. We'll see how it goes. The next thing we need to do is get the event, the value equals value. Oh my word, what did we call it? Okay. Form data to value. It needs to take the reference. It also needs to take the company ID. It needs to take the company ID. Should be fine because it should be on the value itself. There we go. We don't need to do any clever movements here because this is happening inside of the component itself, not inside of closure, so we shouldn't need to move anything around, so that's quite nice. In which case, actually, maybe I just want to inline this. That's not how we do this. Control-Alt-N. Nope. Command-Alt-N. Inline all references. There we go. So we have skipped basically all of this, which is quite nice. We don't need any of that anymore. Now we can go to our spawn, async move. And again, this is taking, I think this is really interesting. The concept of a function that you can pass, oh yes, pass a future into it. And the future, it's so weird to me that because code blocks are both, they are expressions, which means they have a value and a type. And therefore you are able to pass them into, you can pass a block into a function. It's really weird to me, but it kind of makes sense because it's just going to be the last thing that comes out of it that is the, because yeah, this block will result in a future being created. So the value of this block is a future. So I'm pretty sure that that value is sort of created ahead of time, maybe. It's going to be some really weird desugaring around the await, I imagine. And then this evaluates to a future, which you then pass into spawn. So weird. So we already know that most of this is fine. So the flag has been created, which means let result. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to ignore the actual thing for now. Dot store value dot await. We don't need to do, oh yeah, of course. Can why do we run into issues with this? I can't actually remember. We'll look at why that is in a minute. We would then want to call reload values. So reload values is a callback. The callback doesn't take, it's got a single generic thing that you can pass to it, which is quite sensible because it means you can pass in tuples with multiple things. But we're not passing anything. We're just literally telling we're just telling it that it has been called, which then on the other end does the resource.restart for us. And then we just need to clean out the form receiver as well. Set none. Hello, UA, how's it going? We're actually coming to an end on the stream, but it's really nice to see a new face. So lastly, I need to create this editable. This is the editable, like, inner form part, so we're gonna have to do something about that. Me too. I'm also bamboozled. Sorry, this is going to be what gets displayed when we are. It's actually going to be this. It's literally this. Okay. Is it going to be happy with that? Maybe. That is a good idea, Daniel. So always good to give it like a key or something that makes it unique. I probably could have gone with key actually here. Or does key cause me problems? Honestly, can't remember. But you ought to individually identify each thing that appears in a list. That should be okay. I'll quickly grab this. I know I haven't done the editable one yet. Editable. I do need to import that. Interesting. Don't know why there were two things that came up. Okay, last but not least, we just need to make this little form. The form's going to be very, very similar to the other one, actually. It's probably something else that I could probably extract. So if I go back to the value list in here, it's going to be the same as this. I think identical, actually. There we go. We'll have to import some of this. Yeah. kind of want to differentiate that it's not coming from create, like, although that's technically the path, create value list, and then these things. Those things aren't public, so it feels a bit weird to do it that way around. So I'm just going to use super instead. Should all still work. Now the question is, why have I now suddenly got a load of errors? So let's go back to populated list value. Oh, no. Okay, let's just close that. I don't know why I can't go back to the thing. Okay. The error here is, so I'm missing a semicolon. That's always a classic. And in here, wait. Am I going a little bit wild? Yeah, absolutely. Really good to see you, UA. Thank you for joining. And yeah, obviously these things are VOD, video on demand. My brain is totally broken, so I don't know. This has been the best stream to go back and watch later as I get more and more delirious. I don't know where this error is coming from. It says there aren't any errors. Let's try rebuilding. And it's the same thing we had earlier. That's really weird. Maybe it could be that IntelliJ is out of date with Rust or something, that we're getting it telling us things are okay, but Rust is telling us they're not. And I've also had it telling me things are not okay when Rust is like, this is fine. It is in the early access program. Actually, I never checked whether I'm actually allowed to stream with it being used. Hopefully I am. Has ID is not implemented. Oh, yeah. If let some value equal value, and we'll just wrap this entire thing. I do wonder if maybe this should probably be completely outside of it, but I don't actually want it to happen until that happens. I'll leave it. I think there's probably an error situation here where you have sent this form receiver, so it's now something, but we're not sending it back to nothing. So you could end up in a bit of a weird state here. I mean, I could do this, I think. I can't because I am moving the form receiver in. I can clone it. Let's see first, though. I'm pretty sure this will complain. Ooh, okay. So, new company. So you can see now that I've got this little pen, and this should create a new form. I did not, yeah, I can set the, let's go and do that actually before I change anything there. Now I know what those other things were doing. I think I ignored them so hard I didn't even talk about them, but there is two values up here. Oh, they're not set here though. Oh, they're here. So, if I go into editable, I just need to basically put the value in. So it's literally like value.name and value.description. That should work. So let's just do another quick build. Cool. And new company. So we've got our old one, and now they're in there. So this is a different description. Submit. That added it. No, I bet it didn't. Oh, what on earth? Well, that's a pretty big bug to discover right when I was going to stop the stream. Okay, let's have a very quick look at this. Very, very quick. So the problem's going to be in populated list. is going to be something. Oh, I'm so angry with myself. Remember that thing like right at the start of the stream where I said, I don't think that that's necessary. Let's just call it a cliffhanger. I think we've had a few too many of those. It's literally this. Like, it's so stupid. I think we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. And then I think there's going to be an extra bracket here. I think that's it. I think basically it just wasn't rerunning this when company ID changed. What I am curious about though, okay, so new company does load two things. Oh, because of the way that I created the, I'll fix that in a second, but that did make that problem go away. So the last issue is, okay, so the problem that I've hit on, I'm going to do a really stupid fix for this, maybe just write up a bug on it. That's probably what I'll do, Vincent. So in the value list item, I basically took the entire thing, did form data to value, but that's not correct. So what I want to do is let's make this, sorry, that's actually here, mute, equals, oh, that's going to be, okay, hang on. This is not okay. Don't do this. I'm just tired and I want to lie down. So I was creating an entirely new value which has a new ID on it. That still needs mute. So I'm gonna just do that, and I could definitely fix this properly, actually. Okay. Not rush it. Slow myself down. In here, what I can do is do value ID here. Then instead of using new down here, I will actually have to create it, I think. That's probably not the... Nah. Not doing it. Doing it the lazy way. Where was that? I've jumped around too much. Back to here. Here even. This should be fine. I'm just like forcibly setting that's right. Value.id equals value ID. It's fine for now. I'll have a proper think about how to modify a value, or there's going to be something here to do. So the other thing I haven't done is added a delete yet, so I should probably do that at some point. For now though, this is even better description. So hopefully this will edit the one that was there. Oh, it didn't. What have I done wrong this time? Okay. Okay, so now it edits it, but it doesn't refresh the thing. There, okay, I'm gonna call it a day there. That will be that. I'm just gonna edit this stuff. Feet UI, added, editable, value, note, does not actually refresh list. It's probably another one of those things where I was like, I'm pretty sure I don't need this from the flags list. There'll be something in there. It's fine. I mean, given that I was hoping today to get through all 3 things and have barely struggled through the first, I'm just going to call it a win. I think we need to do a DX format. And then try again on that. To do this at 33. Yeah, yeah. What is going on? I've made some mistakes. I saw them. Where did they go? I thought I didn't do anything else, did it? Just try again. Oh, I didn't pick up any other things, but let's see. Okay, commit push. There we go. Okay, yes, I think I might go have a 3rd shower of the day. Thank you everyone for joining. I will have to have a think about what I want to do next stream because I'm not sure yet. I don't think just doing all of this again twice is going to be the right way to go. So I'll have a think. It might just be like fixing my sins. Hi, Dimitri. Thanks for joining. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Still working on the... Oh yeah, if you haven't seen it already, definitely go check out the Threads video. I'm particularly pleased with that. I'm still working on the macros one. I'm roughly done with the layout of the script. I need to go through and just sort of like I always take the code bits out and make them images. Well, more recently I've been taking them out, making them images and sticking them in the script so that I know what I'm talking about while I'm talking. So that's the stage I'm up to with macros. The macros one is a good one. I've had to rename a very famous programming language into something else, but I will keep the spoilers for now. Yeah, I hope to see you all again next time, and I'll try and work out what I'm doing. Thank you very much, everyone. Chat to you later.